Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be doing a quickie discussion. Today's quickie discussion is on Virginia Sanford, and this is a photo of her, probably from Chris's yearbook. She was the most influential teacher in my life during my years at Providence Middle School. She taught me better social skills, how to better cope with other people, bullies, and life. Too bad he didn't learn anything from that. With a positive and fun tomboyish, which is probably what made him want to be a tom girl later, attitude, she was a teacher any child would have been most proud to look up to and be taught by. And he didn't learn a damn thing from her. And this is yet again another photo from his middle school. I love the aesthetic of a 90s classroom. I love that look. I love the chairs. It's just something you'll never see again, and I miss seeing that shit. I love the old-timey clocks. I could go on and on about how much I love the looks of old classrooms. I hate that they're all gone now. Dylan being a boomer, I guess. Most influential person in my life, Chris 2017. Virginia Sanford was one of Chris's teachers at Providence Middle School. She was once Teacher of the Year, which means she's actually pretty good. Wow, I'm mildly impressed by that. Chris has utterly failed to learn anything from her, but Mrs. Sanford is notable for being the only teacher that has had any positive influence on him at all. And that is true. Most of the time he didn't bring up the teachers in his life, and the only other authority figure I can really think of that was in the school system was his principal, and Chris accused him of being a child diddler. So that's not a very positive, it's not a positive thing Chris is going on. Usually he said either teachers were bullying him because of his autism or trying to fuck him. So I guess she's the outlier. Chris and Mrs. Sanford. Mrs. Sanford was the only teacher who Chris ever singled out as having any sort of positive influence on his life. She instructed him on coping skills as late as 2013. He still remembered her fondly, which is weird because usually he doesn't have that good of a memory. Indeed, she seems to have had read Chris very well and offered him genuine advice, which unsurprisingly went in one ear and out the other. When Chris graduated the 8th grade, Mrs. Sanford wrote a personal heartfelt message to Chris, which I'm really glad she did this. Only a couple people did this in Chris's life. She didn't insult him, she just genuinely tried to help him, like Bob tried to do multiple times throughout Chris's life, which he held onto well into his 20s. It would eerily predict his future mishaps. You can just call her Notre fucking Damus, cause she fucking called it. To Christian, well, it's been 3 years now at Providence and it's all over. Where has the time gone to? The most important parting words I can leave you with, well, are to always remember this. You show people where your weak points are located at, then they will know how to push your button. If you never show them, they will never know. Which I wish Chris would have took any of that, because I would have prevented all of the shit he got into in the past 10 years. I hope you will have an enjoyable summer and come back to visit. I don't know if Chris really visited. Do you very best. Do you very best. I guess she's not very good at grammar either. Do your very best at Manchester. Put your best foot forward and treat others the way you wish to be treated. I wish he would have done that. It would have been so helpful if he actually did what she asked him to. Love, Mrs. Sanford, GS. In February 2007, Chris recontacted his old middle school teacher and felt familiar enough to call her Jenny or Virginia. Primarily, he was looking for assistance in remembering the names of his old classmates for his epic DVD. Then, under construction, he promised to send her a copy. Also provided her with a capsule version of his life up at that point, including the insanity of his love quest, which I'm sure she was very happy to hear you didn't listen to a damn thing she told you to do. His clash with Mary Lee Walsh, and his hatred of the jerk-ops. I'm sure she's glad to hear you're beating up local security guards. He gave her the latest news of his efforts in stalking Megan. I'm sure that made her happy. Finally, he directed her to his website, where she could read the sub-episodes to learn more about his Titanic struggles. Yes, because that definitely isn't going to make her not like you. It is not known if Mrs. Sanford responded. Probably not, or else he would have made it public. And that's his Lego version of her. Looks nothing like her. The only thing that even makes it her is the label. soul. So good job, Chris. For some strange reason, Chris included Mrs. Sanford in his list of women in my life on Wikipedia, as she had been a peer or potential romantic partner. That's my own headcanon now. Is this why he tried to use her first name? In any case, he deleted her section shortly after creating the page. I guess he realized how creepy that was. On October 21st, 2017, Chris posted about her on Facebook along with this photo of her. I just remembered a question that was overlooked in recent chat interview. Who was the most influential person in my life? Parents aside, the winner is Mrs. Virginia Jeanine Sanford from Providence Middle School of Midlothian, Virginia. She was a very strong-minded and strong-willed, wise woman. He always has such generic things to say about women every single fucking time. She always knew when to stand her ground for herself and others she cared about and liked, like me. It's always me. She even won Teacher of the Month or Year. It escapes me. Wow, way to fuck that up, Chris. Just read your own articles and then you would know. During the 3 years I was attending, and she had taught me to be strong in mind and heart, and you didn't listen to any of it. She had confidence in me. Too bad it was misplaced. She positively pushed me to do better and be myself as an individual person. Thank you, Mrs. Sanford. You are still in my thoughts, hearts, and prayers. Love, Christian Wesson Chandler, who you remember as Christian. And I would love an update on her, but sadly there is nothing else new about her. Unlike Mary Lee Walsh, there is no end to this story, sadly. And that was everything about Virginia. Virginia is a woman who tried to help Chris. She saw through Chris, knew what was exactly wrong with him, told him everything was wrong with him, and tried to help him. Well before the Love Quest, well before ED, well before the Kiwis, well before everything. And Chris turned it down. Anytime you try to help Chris, he will turn it down, because Chris is going to do whatever the hell he wants to do. There is no helping Chris Chan, and hopefully the story of Virginia Sanford has taught you that. If you guys learned something, then hit that like button. If you really like it, share it. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye. Before the credits roll, I thought I'd give a shout out to my multiple ways of making money. YouTube is starting to slowly sanitize the platform, making it harder for people to make money on edgier content like I do. So I'm reminding you guys that I have a Patreon. The Patreon has plenty of reward tiers, including seeing my podcast early and possibly getting onto the show if I can fit that into the schedule. I have video recommendation tiers that you can try to get into, and if all else fails and my YouTube falls apart, I always have a BitChute account. So remember to check out all these different things in the description below.